How does an entire island vanish with time? Yet a legend of a lingering spirit continues to captivate us today. Let's delve into these fascinating stories from BiblioAsia. Hello, could you recommend a couple of BiblioAsia articles I should check out?
Oh, yeah, sure, why not? Give me a sec. I was just looking at this. Now, this issue of BiblioAsia has this really interesting story. It's about an island that most Singaporeans haven't heard of, and it's called Sarong Island. What's interesting about it is that it's an island that was described as Singapore's first tourist island, a Shangri-La, but then has disappeared. It was owned by Christina Lee, a wealthy socialite and the wife, at one point, of Lok Wan To, the founder of Cathay Organization. She fell in love with the place after seeing the White House, a colonial-style three-story bungalow on the island. So Christina purchased the island and transformed it into a playground for the wealthy and well-connected. On 22nd September 1967, Sarong Island was open for business. Looking to party and have a good time? Sarong Island had it all: floating restaurants, dance performances, and even gifts and prizes for guests. It was even deemed as a magical world.
It sounds like Christina was the J. Gatsby of Singapore. So what happened to Sarong Island?
Well, all the money in the world couldn't change the weather, especially during the monsoon seasons, when nobody wanted to take a sampan across the choppy waters to get to the island. So Christina found it very hard to sustain her business. In 1968, her pleasure island officially closed.
How did it come to be the Sentosa we know today?
Good question. So what happened was that a few years later, the government bought the island and reclaimed Sarong Island and another nearby island called Pulau Ubin and combined them with Sentosa. And now, Sarong Island has been removed from the maps. The other interesting thing to note is that senior librarian Lim Chen Sing, who wrote the article on Sarong Island, found out that Sarong Island and Pulau Ubin were actually two separate islands. For a long time, they were conflated together, but his work has helped to set the record straight.
Fascinating. Do you have other articles that uncovered interesting stories?
Well, let's go from this story about a forgotten island to an island that's slightly better known and a legend that has somehow managed to be kept alive despite somewhat dubious historical evidence. Ever heard of the German Girl Shrine? On the southern coast of Pulau Ubin, there's a shrine dedicated to a German girl with some unusual offerings: nail polish, perfume, makeup, and even dolls. People leave them there hoping she'll bring them some luck. Legend has it that at the outbreak of World War I, there was a German girl living with her parents on a coffee plantation on Pulau Ubin. When British soldiers arrived to intern her family, she ran away in fear, and in the chaos, she fell off a cliff to her death. After the war, her parents returned but found no trace of her.
How tragic. They lost a child to the war.
Or did they? The BiblioAsia writer William L. Gibson has found numerous inconsistencies with this story. From the 1980s, an Ubin resident named Chia Yeng King gave a bunch of interviews to newspapers recounting the story of this dead girl's German ancestry and of her living on a coffee plantation. However, William's research showed that there was no coffee plantation in operation on Pulau Ubin in 1914. By that time, they'd all been converted into rubber and coconut plantations. There was also no evidence to suggest that a German family had been living there at the time either.
Oh, what else did he debunk?
In his research, William made a few other discoveries. At the time when the British began interning German nationals, there was no mass roundup of German families. All the men were ordered to report to the P&O Wharf at New Harbour, while the women and children were relocated soon after. Plus, at the time, the German girl would have been under her mother or her nanny's supervision, so they would definitely have known if she had disappeared. He concludes that there is no explanation as to why the German girl's family would have been unable to locate her after the war. It would have been a high-profile case, but no such news appeared in the newspapers of the day. Moreover, Mr. Chia was born more than 10 years after the supposed death of the German girl, so he didn't actually have first-hand information about her. He said that he'd heard the story from someone older than him, so it was passed down to him by word of mouth.
It's interesting how stories evolve as they pass down through the years.
Yes, and there have been other interpretations of the legend. In 1985, we have the first newspaper report of the shrine. The Malay newspaper Berita Minggu reported the legend of a Javanese princess who fled to Pulau Ubin and after her death became a rock shaped like a resting woman, later said to haunt the hill as a Hantu Putri or ghost princess. Another theory suggests that the shrine began as a termite mound.
If there were so many questions about the grave, why not just dig it up to find the truth?
That's actually what they did, but to very curious results. The original shrine had to be moved, and according to Mr. Chia, when the mound of the original shrine was exhumed, no human remains were found. Instead, the grave diggers found a metal cross, coins, a few strands of hair, and finger bones that could have been chicken bones, and a 1-cent coin from the British North Borneo dated 1890. These were all transferred to an urn in an altar at the new shrine. Despite all the historical inaccuracies, the lore of the German girl lives on, fueled by our generational love of a good story.
What are some of the latest BiblioAsia stories we can look forward to?
Well, I'm glad you asked. To mark NLB's 30th and BiblioAsia's 20th anniversaries, we've just released a special bumper edition. In this, we explore the history of the National Library, including our early role in pioneering archaeological research in the region. There's also a nostalgic photo essay on the old Stanford Library and a tribute to Hedwig Anwar, the first local director of the National Library and a true trailblazer. You can read all of this online or pick up a copy at the National Library or any of our libraries today.
That sounds interesting. I'll check it out.
Happy reading! Bye!